Y'all, I am finally back. I am excuse the house. Excuse the house. I am cleaning up, so I got to load in the laundry. I got clothes folded up on the counter, and I am watching Higher Learning with Van Lathan and Rachel Lindsay. They're talking about Serena and using the GLPs. If push comes to shove and this weight don't go where I want it to go with like eating healthy and working out, I'm gonna be on HLP ones. Whatever's the next one up. I don't want to take the GLPs. I'll take a H, a J, a JLP one. Cause I'm about tired of this. This is a fucking struggle. So it feels good to me to hear that a grown man is also struggling with this weight loss journey. Someone that has money, that's someone that can afford the Manjaro and the Monjavi and the Mojave Desert pills, like they can afford it all. Cause baby, I'm not finna go through my insurance for this shit. I'm gonna continue to try to work hard like I've been doing, but sometimes a bitch get weary. My will, I can't live to fight another day.
Live to fight another day.
Anyway, we are here for chapter 2. Chapter 2 is called String Bean. Hold please. So String Bean starts off in the early mornings of a New York City in 1925. A Jewish woman is walking down the street and approaches a 6-month-old Cicely and her mother. And this is an era apparently where you knew your neighbors. Because I was a little concerned when I first heard her speaking on this Jewish woman, because I'm just like, okay, what shit finna pop off? There's been so much fucking shit going on in America the past 400 years. I'm just like, what's finna happen to this 6-month-old baby and her mother? But in the 1920s, immigrants were immigrants, no matter what the color. So this Jewish woman was very pleasant. She approached the two of them with a smile. And she basically tells Cicely's mom, hey, take care of this little girl. She's going to take care of you in your old age. She smiles and she walks off, never to be seen or heard from again. Now, I love a good prophecy. And I know a lot of Black households have members that have the gift of clairvoyancy. You can hear things. I ain't talking about schizo. I'm talking about you can actually hear like premonitions or dream premonitions, and that's a beautiful gift to have. I love it. And of course, I just scanned all the way to the damn bottom. Lord. Cicely's parents grew up in St. Nevis. That is a sister island of St. Kitts, and the island is about 35 miles long between the Atlantic and the Caribbean Sea and the British Virgin Islands. Now, Cicely's mom, catch this name now, Frederica Theodosia Huggins, was the only child of a Mary Jane Sargent, who was a seamstress, and her father is Charles Huggins, a fisherman, who drowned when his boat capsized, and they never married. I can't believe I just did this shit again. Cicely's father, William Augustine Tyson, he is said to be one of 24 kids that he knew about. And his father, John Edward Tyson, fathered 8 of the 24 with his mother, Carolyn Carol Matilda Wilkes Tyson. Did you catch the name? Okay. Cicely's father's father was an overseer to a wealthy family, and his mother was a wayfarer. Now, a wayfarer is what we would call in 2025 out in these streets. Like, her soul could not rest. She needed to be out. And with 8 kids, ma'am, are you okay? You need some caroling time. You need to get away from these damn kids and just go live your life without someone tugging on your goddamn, without them being underfoot. So whenever that would happen, Cicely's maternal mother, that Mary Jane Sargent woman I was telling you about earlier, she would come over and scoop the kids up. She was like Big Mama. She was like, I'm not gonna leave these kids in the house by themselves. Or if the father was there, he's probably making another damn baby, making a 25th baby. But she would come through and grab the kids up and take them over to her house. And that's where Cicely's parents met, at Cicely's grandmother's house, the Mary Jane Sargent. And these two met when they both were 12. Now, Cicely's mother is a month older than her dad, that William Augustine fellow, but he was a little bit more rambunctious, I would say, from what I'm hearing so far. He was rambunctious, a charmer. You get what I'm saying? Red flags all around him. Just fuck Crimson. That nigga is red tide, okay? His mother was a lot more chill, timid, and so they kind of, were sweet on each other from the get-go. Now, when Cicely's mom, when Frederica turned 13, this is I can't even say back then, because even now, black folks love church. So when Frederica was 13, she went for her confirmation. And during her confirmation, a dove flies in the window and lands on Frederica's head. Y'all know black folks. The pastor looked at this as a sign like, hey, we need to send this child to America. I don't know what made him think if doves landing on your head is a sign that you need to go to America. But that's what they ended up doing, because a few years earlier, Frederica's aunt made the trip to America. And so they decided to prepare her to be the next in line to go to America. Mary Jane wrote to her sister and it's like, hey, your niece, she's this chosen child. Make way for her to come through. I mean, I guess back then you needed a sponsor like you need a sponsor now, huh? As I told you before, her mom is a homebody, sort of an introvert, which is perfect for someone that is very outgoing, someone that wants all the attention, someone that's an extrovert. In the summer of 1919, her father arrived on Ellis Island. Is it arrived in Ellis Island or arrived on Ellis Island? Her father arrived to Ellis Island right after World War I had ended and right before Jim Crow. Like, we always knew there was a Jim Crow, but this is when they really started to enforce Jim Crow. Just a year earlier, Birth of a Nation was released. It was said that the president at that time, Woodrow Wilson, was heard to be yelling down the halls, gaslighting everyone to believe that the KKK were the saviors and black folks were the savages. The environment in 1919 apparently was very toxic. I mean, just a year later, it was the whole Tulsa massacre. So you know the type of energy these people were given. Cicely says it best. She said the world that her dad was going to sell into was one with a legacy of assault on the heroes who tilled this soil. But, just like every generation, there's a hunger for opportunity, and America was that place to go for, better living. He moved in with Miriam, which was Mary Jane Sargent's sister. So he moved in with Miriam and her husband, Patrick. Now, William would move back and forth between there and his eldest brother, George, place in East Orange. And then they all decided to move from East Orange to Mount Clair. Now, William was a skilled carpenter, so he ended up creating a fruit and veggie cart. He operated his cart all through Hell's Kitchen in uptown Manhattan on the east side. He then decided to enlist in the 369th Infantry Regiment. They were the first all-black National Guard unit called the Harlem Hellfighters. Now, they never got a chance to fight overseas because of racism, White soldiers refused to fight alongside black soldiers, and so the Harlem Hellfighters were assigned to fight alongside France. Despite fighting for this country, their valor and sacrifice, I mean, like over 1,500 soldiers died. They returned home to hate. They returned home to a prejudiced society that still to this day deny black people equal citizenship. While William is, off doing his thing, Frederica is living her life in St. Kitts. So they would write each other back and forth. There's no FaceTime, there's no telephone. So all they could do was whip out pen and paper and make it do what it do. From that confirmation church ceremony when she was 13, we fast forward 10 years and now she's making her way to New York. Now, this is 1920. They're both 23 years old. She boards the Macedonia and she is leaving everyone she loves behind to try to make this sacrifice, to make this premonition come true. I'm the golden child, or I was called to be the golden child. I have to make good on that. So I have to leave mom. I have to leave everything and I have to go to America. She joined William in New York and she ended up living with her aunt. Since this is 1920 and no honest woman will be caught dead shacking up, William had to leave. So William, they kicked William out. They sent William to go live with his favorite sister, Zora, in Mount Vernon in the Bronx. And so Frederica moved in his place. I mean, well, hell, it was her aunt anyway. I mean, what? Why should he get to stay with my aunt? Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this brownstone. So he left. She moved in. And when she arrived to America, she ended up being kind of like what they do now. She's a live-in nanny, and she would return home on weekends, and then they would kick it with each other and do their thing, enjoy each other. Woo! Oh, that's a woman. While they're both working and they're scrimping and saving, he got his fruit cart and all this stuff, they decide to get engaged. And they have something that they call calling of the bands, which is pretty much basically a save the date for all the families to know, hey, this is the day that we're getting married. Be prepared. So they got married September 25th, 1921. And they began their marriage in a Bronx tenement on the east side of Manhattan and instantly started popping out babies. Oh, baby, she started popping out babies. Babies having babies. No, she was a good, what did I say she was? 23. So yeah, that was a good age to start having baby shit. Probably back then they thought she was an old maid. They probably thought she was a lesbian. You're 23, you ain't had no kids yet. You're supposed to start having kids at 16. First child was the son of the family, the eldest son. His name was Melrose, and he was named Melrose because William apparently loved it since seeing it on a sign in the Bronx and decided that Melrose would be the name of his first son. Next came Cicely. She was born in 1924, 6 days before Christmas, and Emily a year and a half later. Now we're going to go back to Cicely because this book is about Cicely. Cicely's mom wanted Cicely's name to be Miriam after her aunt, which had passed in a fire way before Cicely was born. However, her father had different plans. Her father wanted her to be called Cicely because he said an adorable little girl next door was called Cicely. But that turns out to be a lie. So I cannot wait till I get to that chapter. So Cicely was born with a heart murmur. And when they discovered this heart murmur, doctors said that Cicely may not make it past 3 months. However, Cicely's mother was like, I don't know what you're talking about. You're not going to tell me that my daughter is not going to make it past 3 months. I'm going to show you that she is going to live past 3 months. And she's going to be a bad bitch when she grow up. Okay, so her mother goes to work on Cicely's health. So, the power of a strong black woman. So this strong mother was like, fuck what y'all talking about. I'm going to heal my daughter. I'm going to give her all the foods. I'm going, because that's what black folks do. Whenever you sick, it's starve a fever and feed a cold, supposedly. But black folks be like, feed a cold, feed a fever. My mother set out to prove medicine wrong and did. And then she had all the fresh fruit and veggies from the cart her man had. Oh, Cicely was definitely going to be healed. She didn't need no medicine. She didn't need no pronacferactorin or whatever these crazy ass drugs is called. She don't need no GLP-1. She don't need none of that. Now, with Cicely being sickly, her mother used to, smother her. She used to smother her. If she would cough, she's looking to see like what's wrong. So her dad is like more chill. He's like, girl, let me take this baby away from you. You doing way too much. Like, give her some air. Like, she is okay. Like, let her breathe. Let her be a kid. So he would scoop her up and take her to Central Park every now and then just to get some relief from the mother. Yeah, this is definitely after they killed all the black people that were in Central Park, but that's not this book. That's another book. Eventually, her mama disappeared, and she was still skin and bones, but she was healthy. But her mother was still, I guess, paranoid that she may still be sickly, so she kept making all these doctor's appointments, and the doctors were just like, girl, look, she is not going to be fat. Leave this girl alone. You are stressing her and us out. Like, just chill. And so I guess it finally clicked for her, and she was like, okay, my daughter is healthy. I'm gonna leave it be. When Cicely arrived home from the hospital, her father told Melrose, "This is your sister." No, that sounds more African. So from that moment on, Melrose would call her either sister or sis. Now, the rest of the family pretty much followed suit with their own nicknames for Cicely. Her mother would call her Fatherface because she inherited his cheekbones. Her father would call her String Beans because of her lankiness. But he would also call her Heartstrings because she was his first daughter. And, she was pretty much his first love, like a father's love. Now, as far as Melrose was pretty much, from what I was hearing, the black sheep. Friends and family would call him Tyson, but his mother would call him Bo. I'll try to do a little something right there. In the black household, I don't feel that there's really much of a secret that the parents may have a favorite child, and they really didn't have any secrets in the Tyson family either. They definitely made it known which were the favorites. For instance, Melrose was a mama's boy. Hell, she called them Bo. And Cicely and Emily were definitely daddy's girls. So Bo, whenever he would get tired of having two sisters, tout all around him, he would go off and kick it with the neighborhood boys. He would go off, play marbles, and he would be out well later than what his mother told him to do. So she would have to get up, go out, look for her son, and, scrunch him up by the back collar, say, get your ass up in this house. And when you get in the house, you finna get towed up by your dad. So some days he'll get a little backhand from dad, because dad is like, you stayed out way too long. Your mother told you what time that you need to be home. Why weren't you home at that time? Slap, out. You know what I'm saying? Melrose would rather be in the streets, obviously, because, he got more positive reinforcement in the streets. His friends was in the streets. And most of the people in the street was, showing him love. He wasn't being yelled at in the streets, basically. Cicely recalls a photo that her mom would regularly walk past, and every time she would walk past this photo, she's like, your father know he could have gotten a suit for Bo. Because everyone is looking sharp in this photo. He's tall and clean like a Rockefeller, she says. What we say now is casket sharp. So he's looking good. Everyone in the photo has fried dye laid to the side. But her brother is over there looking all sad. He got the stank face with high waters. They got the brother, they got the only boy flooding in the picture. And although he showed little interest in keeping Melrose groomed, he also was very strict, very hard on him. His scolds were louder than his encouragements. A lot of tough love. She doesn't have a doubt that her father loved Melrose as much as her and Emily, because he provided for all of them the same. And in West Indian culture, provision speaks the love language the tongue may seldom profess. They may not say it verbally, but they show it in their actions. Their dad protected them. Now, he was tougher on Melrose because she feels that he was trying to prepare him for a world that villainized black men. It makes sense. So we talked about Cicely, we talked about Melrose. Now, Emily has her own little nicknames from her father. Emily was named after her father's cousin. Once she realized that Frederica was going to give birth on her birthday, she says, "Oh, can you please name her after me? That would be the best birthday gift ever." Hey, I'm trying, but maybe I should just stop, right? He doesn't just call her Emily. Her nickname was Molly after a Broadway play called My Blue Heaven. Emily was what Cicely wanted to be. She was forward. She was worldly. She wants to get all the tea that's spilling out of everybody's cups. She was in conversation that she probably should not have been. What we like to say is she's been here before. Now, Emily had the features that are celebrated in our culture. A full mane of hair, a thick, healthy body. So she wasn't a string bean, she was thickums. She had the gregariousness of her dad. And at 8, Cicely would look at herself in the mirror and would get disappointed. Good morning. Happy Friday to everybody. I made it to work a little early, so I was sitting in the car editing the recap, and I realized that I did not even close out the video. It just stopped abruptly, like, that's all, folks.
That's all, folks.
So I am coming back here today to say, I'm gonna break that part up into 2 different parts because she was talking about a lot in that chapter, and I don't want to skip over anything. So part 1 will be loaded tomorrow, and then I'll download the second part sometime next week. So until next time, I'll see you in the YT streets. Bye, y'all.